So these are the 4 levels of customer service: unacceptable, basic, anticipated, and unanticipated. What is unacceptable? Unacceptable is when you go to the restaurant, the hairdresser, the whomever, the dental practice, and you are managed in such a way that you walk out angry. Not just angry, but saying, that's it. I'm going online, I'm giving them a bad Google review. That's it, I'm going on Facebook in the local community and say, I had this terrible experience. That's where you're telling, the minute your sister calls on the phone, you have no idea what just happened to me. You're angry because the customer service has been so bad that your expectations, it's not just they weren't met or they didn't kind of leap over, they were just bad. You'd never go back there again. And on top of that, you're actively seeking ways of complaining to the manager or to people outside of the business about that experience. That's unacceptable customer service. Basic customer service is where you are just getting over the line. So the kind of experience you'd have at a restaurant, hairdresser, dental practice is when you not really anything to majorly complain about, but you're like, they weren't that great. You know, I wouldn't actually call the manager about anything. I wouldn't badmouth them to the community. They weren't that great though. And so I reckon next time I might just go somewhere else. I won't go back to that restaurant again. I won't go back to that hairdresser. I might look for a different dentist next time. That's basic customer service. Anticipated customer service is where you have had your expectations met. What do we expect? We expect to be fed at a reasonable rate. We expect the dentist and the team to be caring. We expect them to be gentle. We expect them to be professional. We expect them to be friendly. And we get all of that. We leave our experience at this dental practice feeling completely satisfied. That was good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. If somebody asks me, who do you go see as a dentist? I go, yeah, I go here. You should go there. Would I actively go out there and say, everybody, you have to go there? Not necessarily, but I'm completely and utterly happy. And unless something happens, I'm happy to continue on going to that dental practice, that hairdresser, that restaurant. This is where we feel most dental practices are. Even those dental practices that say in there, when Amina and I go into a practice for the first time, how do you manage patients here? Exceptionally. That's our standard, exceptional service. And then what we see is anticipated. Now, keep in mind, anticipated is golden. It's wonderful. If all dental practices had delivered anticipated customer service to their patients, we'd have a fabulous reputation amongst the community. If you are delivering anticipated customer service, that is perfectly wonderful, and we applaud you for it because that is a great standard to achieve. However, let's just go up a bit more and let's have a look at what unanticipated customer service is. Now, just as unacceptable, one end of the extreme in customer service, had you seeking out, spending time and energy, making sure the manager knew exactly how bad that customer service was, exactly how unhappy you were, that you were going on Facebook on Google to write a nasty review, that you were telling all your friends and family, whoever would listen, it was terrible. Unanticipated does the same thing, but in a positive way. That you have been treated and managed in such a delightful way, you can't wait to tell people about it. You think they earn me going online, Google, and giving them a 5-star review. I'm ringing that manager and saying how impressed I am because it's such a great experience. Delivering unanticipated customer service can be an amazing free practice builder. And an example that I had recently, I think years and years ago, I'd been to the Lobster Cave before, a restaurant here in Melbourne, in Beaumaris. And I went there with the expectation of a nice restaurant. I didn't realise it was going to be delivering unanticipated customer service. When Charles and I arrived, because Charles had a meeting, or we had something on just prior to, so we had the 8:30 sitting. And when we turned up, there was a maitre d' at the front door. And he said, Charles. I'm like, oh, that's impressive. It's like they're expecting us. How fabulous. And then we go in. It is I always imagined it this one because of the way they advertise and stuff. I had this thought that, I reckon it's going to be really busy and like maybe the tables were close together. They weren't. The ambiance was fantastic. Tables were far enough apart and it wasn't busy and chaotic. It was just really subdued and lovely. The lighting was a little bit low. We walked to our seat, not just, sometimes people bolt off and you're like, oh, where'd they go? He kept looking back, making sure that we were following him, sat us down. The seating was really comfortable. You could do BYO without a corkage fee. So that's all, all these added things. You go, that's nice, that's nice, that's nice. We were very well attended to. You hardly had to twist a head, and they were there. Can I get you another wine? Can I get you anything else? All the things. Everything came out in perfect order. Their systems were great. All the team knew exactly what to do. We had the wait staff as well. They hung around for a bit of conversation. Charles loves a bit of conversation. I just want to eat. He loves a bit of conversation. And so that was all going beautifully as well. We had, when I ordered salad, I didn't just have salad. I had like a whole plate of seafood. And then I was like, you beauty, this is the best place in the world. And then at the end of the meal, we got given a free port each. I'm like, this place, oh my God, just wonderful. And so that was Unanticipated Customers. I think I've told maybe a dozen people how I really enjoyed that experience. You get enough of, if you consistently deliver unanticipated customer service to your patients and you have every one patient tell about 12 people about it, can you imagine how wonderfully practice building that would be? And when in the past lessons we've spoken about the importance of don't just try to appeal to everybody, that a practice's viability is built even more strongly when you are filling it with and attracting perpetual patients, those that come back every 6 months, or at the very least loyal patients, those that will only ever come to you for all their dental dollars they'll spend with you. It is through this unanticipated customer service that you can start getting more of these patients, because these patients currently are being loyal somewhere else. And they will continue being loyal there because they're happy there. In all likelihood, getting anticipated customer service, so why leave? And the only thing that will make that person leave is if at that practice they start delivering basic customer service, God forbid, unacceptable. We don't think there's any dental practices that do unacceptable. We think it's, basic's the lowest we go, hopefully. Or they'll leave that practice if they become aware of unanticipated customer service that they'll receive elsewhere at your practice. So powerful, so powerful. We think we need to spend tens of thousands of dollars every year on marketing. Maybe the only thing we need to do is develop unanticipated customer service as the way we deliver patient journeys at our practice, have all the team trained in it. We recruit for it, people who love that. Do that consistently. You just watch your patient base grow. If you're delivering basic customer service, you need lots and lots of new patients, because lots of patients are leaving back at the back door. Anticipated, wonderful. Let's hope nobody with unanticipated customer service opens up around the corner to take your patients. But unanticipated, everybody wins. Everybody wins. We're going to step through that a little bit more too. So the attitude of staff. And I've experienced, I think, Meanie, you have too, every one of these attitudes we've displayed at past practices. Is it you as well, Meanie?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So don't be shy. Like, we all do it.
I've seen it.
When we're young and silly.
Yeah.
Young and silly. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Move that back over there. So when we are delivering unacceptable customer service as an individual team member, the attitude that we likely have is resentful. We are resentful by the fact that we even have to work to earn money to pay for our life. Why? Why is life so unfair? Why can't I just be given money? So we're resentful for even needing to be there. When we're delivering basic customer service, we're not even with basic customer service, that employee is just getting over the line of not being fired that day. They're not caring, they're not compassionate, they're just doing the bare minimum not to get fired. Their attitude is apathetic. I don't really care. I could be working at this job that blows, or work another job that blows, but all these jobs blow. So whatever. I just need my next paycheck. So I'm not going to be delivering unacceptable customer service. I'm better than that. And so delivering basic customer service, the attitude of the employee, apathetic. Anticipated, this is where we start to enjoy our work. And people who deliver anticipated customer service, they have a high level of interest and energy that they bring to the role and to their patient interactions. They want to do good. They want to make those patients happy. They want to make their boss happy. They want to make their team members happy. They want to be a good team member. They want to enjoy their job. And they know that it's a 50-50 deal. That sure, be great if if I find a dental practice has a good culture and has got good facilities and pays good money, then it's up to me to enjoy that place. Then I bring my good attitude, my level of interest, my level of energy, and it's happy. It's a happy equation then. It's a happy deal. And so people who deliver anticipated customer service have good interest and good energy. However, when we go up into unanticipated customer service, what is that attitude? How is that different from the anticipated customer service? And the attitude of people who start delivering unanticipated customer service is motivated and inspired. These people, only is at Easter time, to get up in the morning and go to work because it's such an enjoyable experience. And they get so much out of it and they get so much from giving. So the attitude of the staff member is going to be different. And you can start to see too that if we're going to start recruiting for a team that's going to be delivering unanticipated customer service, or we're going to be looking at our existing team and looking at their characteristics and their attitudes and thinking, are they capable of going up, stepping it up to an unanticipated customer service? The ones who are apathetic and resentful will either be fired or they will naturally quit. When that bar rises up to be here, they know they've got no interest in going up there. I'll just work in my apathetic way somewhere else. And so that's where you go, that's okay. That's okay. This is where when Amina and I started a program with anybody, with any practice, we always say to the practice owner, are you happy if any of these team members leave because of our involvement? Because that's what happens when you raise the bar of requiring additional energy, a better attitude, then the people that don't have the attitude that about change, about improvements, all the things, they'll just want to be complacent. So they'll go somewhere else so they can continue to be complacent. And that's good. That's good. Otherwise, they'll drag the whole team back. Now, what do we mean by an anticipated customer service in terms of actual kind of role plays? This is what it looks like to do that unanticipated customer service. And you'll get a strong feeling of how easy and straightforward it can be. You don't have to, build in a whole bunch of new tools and scripts and things like that. It's not about that. It's about increasing the level of energy and enthusiasm that you bring to everything. So going from unacceptable down the bottom through up to unanticipated. Answering the telephone, the receptionist at the front, answering the telephone. Unacceptable is when you overhear that receptionist pick up the phone and say, hello. That's unacceptable. Keep thinking unacceptable customer service is the type that you think to yourself, the minute that person finishes that task, they're coming into the office immediately, and I'm going to talk to them immediately. Basic is when you think to yourself, I really should talk to that staff member. They're not doing well. Because basic is dental surgery, no interest, no care. At least that person knows they're calling a dental surgery though. So, okay, they're just getting over the line there. But I've really got to talk to this person at some point about finessing how they do things. Anticipated, what most of us do, and which is wonderfully acceptable, is dental surgery. Julie speaking, how can I help you? How common does that sound? Most dental practice receptionists would sound that way. Not all of them are named Julie, though. However, unanticipated has this, how can I help you? Doesn't cost anything, takes the same amount of time. We're just putting a bell and whistle on it. We're adding energy to it, adding enthusiasm behind it. How about when we're scheduling an appointment time? Unacceptable. A person that is resentful of even being at on dental reception, wishes she didn't even have to work and turn up that day, is often not mindful enough and careful enough with the tasks they do. So often you'll find in the appointment book there's lots of mistakes and does not ensure the patient is clear on the details. So you can imagine the patient saying, oh, was that 12 or 2? And the receptionist is saying, 12. Oh, and then I'll speak to you later on. I'll see you when you get here. And knows that patient's not totally clear on the appointment, but do they care? They just don't care. Sure, turn up at a different time. I couldn't give a shit. Basic customer service, when the receptionist is quite apathetic, there may not be any mistakes because they don't want to be fired. They're just getting over the line of not being fired. Still does not ensure the patient's completely clear on the details. So a patient could ring up and say, I need an appointment time with the dentist. Sure, when is good for you? 2:00 on Friday. Fine, we'll see you 2:00 on Friday. Does she find out exactly what the person needs? Whether they need antibiotic cover prior to coming in, whether the appointment time is long enough, whether they've been quoted for the appointment time? Doesn't care about any of those things. Anticipated. Takes time to ensure the patient is clear on details and notes it on the card and sends an SMS. So you hear your receptionist making that appointment time for the patient and you've got no problems with it whatsoever. You are very comfortable that the patient has been quoted, is in for the appropriate length of time, in with the appropriate provider, and has had their expectations of treatment set. So I'm going to cough. Unanticipated, though, is when we're going through those extra bits of energy, enthusiasm behind everything. Takes time to ensure the patient is clear, notes on the card and sends the SMS, explains the treatment quote and length of appointment time. So we go through the whole spiel. Patient rings up and says, I'd like to organise an appointment time. I had a filling to do for my last checkup. I need to book in for that. Oh, Amina, how lovely to hear from you. Yes, I do remember we needed to make an appointment time. Well done on you in giving us a call back. Let's jump in to your file, make sure we book you in for the right length of time. I know that Dr. Smith always notes down all these wonderful details for us, so we make sure it all gets in the book perfectly. Oh, here we go. 75-minute appointment time, Amina. That's what we need. Tell me, is it for a 75-minute appointment time, morning or afternoon, what's best for you? And we go through all the things. Great. Amina, we've got that appointment time now. Have you got a pen and paper ready? Friday, 2:00, you'll be here for 75 minutes. The cost of that's going to be $420. If anything additional is going to be done on the day, we'll make sure we quote you, get your consent before we go ahead and do it. You need to bring along your bite splint because we're doing a filling there. So can you make sure you make a note for yourself to bring your bite splint along to that appointment time? We'll be contacting you the day before to confirm the appointment time as well. Amina, is there anything else that I can help you with? And so all of a sudden we're building all of this stuff out and we're delivering unanticipated customer service. You get off your phone and you go, oh my God, they're just so delightful there. They're constantly delightful. And as you can see, there's nothing wrong with anticipated, but unanticipated is another level on top. And you can see that in order to give unanticipated customer service the due energy that's required, the attitude of the team member needs to be motivated and inspired. It's interest and energy on steroids, motivated and inspired. Let's give you another couple of examples. Managing a patient complaint. Unacceptable when a patient complains about something. That's not my job. You're talking to the wrong person. Again, those sort of team members, you're thinking the minute that person has finished that task, I'm taking them into the office and having a word with them. Basic level of customer service, they really don't care. Remember, they're apathetic. I'll get the manager. Like, don't even talk to me because you can see how much I don't care about this right now. So I'm going to go get somebody else because, I don't know, maybe they care about you. I don't. Anticipated, what most of us do. I apologise for this situation, Amina. I will speak to the manager and get right back to you with a solution. Is that okay with you? Sure, says Amina. That's well managed. That's what I would expect from a professional organisation. I am happy with that. However, how do we add the extra and deliver unanticipated customer service? Oh, Amina, I'm so sorry that there's been a concern. Let's go into the office. I want to sit down with you so I can listen to exactly what happened from your perspective, and that way I can get a good solution for you. Are you okay with that? And then we get one-on-one. I hear exactly what's going on. I speak to the appropriate people. Maybe it's to ring the dentist. The dentist have to call them later on to do a clinical conversation, whatever the thing is. But I have cared so much that everything goes on hold. I sit down with Amanda. I'm like, it's all about you and getting a solution for you. That's unanticipated customer service when it comes to a patient complaint. Imagine if Telstra did that with us. How about stepping into the surgery and the administration of local anaesthetic? Unacceptable is if the clinician failed to announce what was happening. All of a sudden, the needle's in the mouth. It's fast and it's painful. And even though the patient was kind of jumping, just kept on doing it. Didn't pause, didn't say anything to the patient to acknowledge their discomfort. Again, just as with the team member, you're thinking, I'm going to get this person into the office the minute I can to talk to them about their attitude. With this, the dental assistant thinking, next chance I get, I'm going to the boss and letting them know how this person is giving local anaesthetic. This is unacceptable. What about a basic delivery of customer service when it comes to the local anaesthetic? This is where it's announced that the local anaesthetic is coming, but that's as good as it gets. When the patient's in obvious discomfort, still no care, no compassion, no pausing, no nothing. Anticipated, what most of us do, and it's all fabulous doing it this way. We announce that the local anaesthetic's coming. It's administered gently, with compassion, and the DA is there, hand on the shoulder, supportive. We're taking our time with it. We care. That's what most practices do, and it's glorious. However, unanticipated customer service is when we're doing more, when we're doing things that the patient would not normally expect, has not normally received in the past at other dental practices. Maybe we're using the wand wherever we can rather than the standard local anaesthetic. Maybe we are warming the syringe in a little bottle warmer or in the gloved hand, with the body heat. And we're being very gentle and comforting. We're speaking very softly and reassuringly. Now I'm going to count back from 10, 9, 8, 7. Hopefully I can see you going well there. 6, 5. And you're just adding more to it. You're being a higher level of energy and enthusiasm behind your comfort care and the additional things you can do to reduce down the need for that standard local anaesthetic experience. It would also, one of the things you could do in that situation is when we're prepping the patient for the treatment, we can bring the lights down just ever so slightly in the room just to make it a little bit more restful. We're very mindful of the music on the background, so it's not bop, bop, bop. It's calming. So their experience, all their 5 senses, as we spoke about a couple of lessons ago, all their 5 senses are picking up calm, restful, peaceful. And that's unanticipated customer service. Management of an anxious patient. This unacceptable one is what I witnessed when I was first a young dental nurse with this dentist that I was working with. Unacceptable management of an anxious patient. You are not letting us work. We can't do the treatment and send the patient away. Mind you, this patient had half their amalgam filling removed when they were sent away because they were too anxious. And so the dentist said, we cannot see you any longer. We could see the car park from the staff room, and I then saw her go to her car and her shoulders were heaving up and down. She was crying so much. Just a terrible way to leave a patient. That's unacceptable. That patient would probably, with every likelihood, if they were the personality type, they would ring APRA and say, I've got to complain about somebody. This is terrible. Basic, that we acknowledge that there's anxiety. We can see it there, but we're not going to really say to the patient, what can I do for you in that moment? Because it's going to take time. Who's got the energy? We really don't care that much because there's an apathy in this surgery. So we're just going to push through. We've got 30 minutes to get this filling done, and we're going to get it done in 30 minutes, no matter what. What most of us do, anticipated customer service, we say things like in the morning huddle, for example, when we're booking the appointment time to start off with, The dentist thinks to themselves, I would normally need 30 minutes, but this patient's really anxious, so I'm going to ask for 45 minutes. So we lengthen the appointment time out, and then we treat the patient with more care. And we're about to give local anaesthetic, and how was that? And is that all going well? And so we are really acknowledging the fact that this patient's more highly anxious than the average person. And that's great. Unanticipated, when we're going above and beyond, managing their anxiety in a way that's never been managed before. Look, Amina, it's true for you.
Very true.
We know you're anxious and we're here to help. This is what we're going to do. First of all, we're going to give you some Valium. Then we're going to bring the lights down. And then I'm going to go through a bit of meditation with you. And then the nurse knows hypnotherapy. I'm not saying do all of those things, but there's a whole range of additional things that you can do that really do help that patient to feel and think to themselves, I can only come here. Any other dentist, none of them have done these sort of things, gone to these steps for me and my anxiety. I must come here. And when you start delivering that kind of customer service to anxious patients, their anxiety does come down. They get better and better at coming. As long as it's consistently good, they get better and better at coming. So you're actually helping people overcome those anxieties, and they're becoming better patients from a behavioural perspective and ease of working with perspective. And so they're not always like that. So there's another benefit there as well. So hopefully we've given you an indication of how unanticipated, what that looks like as opposed to anticipated. If you've got any questions, pop them in the chat, and we can, or we'll sing them out now. Pop them in the chat. Sing them out now or at the end of the presentation. Now, you might be thinking as a team member, this all seems like pretty tiring to deliver unanticipated customer service. My God, like, I don't know if I've got it in me. But this is something else that's true. Now, a lot of people will say, and it's absolutely true, that if you find the thing that you're passionate about, you will have loads of energy to do it. You'll have loads of enthusiasm, endless enthusiasm and energy to do the thing that you're doing because you are passionate about it. However, Amina and I have found the opposite to be true as well. It has been our experience that when we start to deliver unanticipated customer service, the thing that then happens is we start becoming passionate about what we do. So bringing it back down to the unacceptable customer service with the person that hates the fact they have to work for a living and is very resentful of even working at all, their level of job satisfaction is zippo. There's no job satisfaction there at all. If they are delivering basic customer service, yet they are quite apathetic, they really don't care either way, they just want to keep the job, they've got very low job satisfaction because they've got satisfaction in that they get paid, that they can maintain their life, but that's it. There's nothing else on top of that. So it's very low job satisfaction. Anticipated, where most practices are at, and we've got a great energy and interest in the attitude of the people working there, their job satisfaction is good. Are you satisfied with your job? Yeah. Do you enjoy coming here? Yes. However, when we're delivering unanticipated customer service, we're coming from a motivated and inspired place consistently. And it ends up feeding on itself. And that's where we start becoming quite passionate about our work. I can't wait to get back there and do that again. That feels so good. And everybody, the whole team do this. And so I feel like I'm in my tribe here. All the patients are so delighted and delightful to deal with because we are setting the tone. We're setting the behaviour, the relationship. And so don't just think, I can't deliver that kind of thing because I don't have enough energy inside of me because it's not my passion. It can come from the other way as well, and there's proof in the pudding. Give it a shot. You watch. When you start to increase the level of energy you bring to your role and start delivering unanticipated customer service, start having these kind of responses. You know what? We're here to help you. We're going to take our time. We're going to do a bit of meditation with you. We're going to warm the local anaesthetic. We're going to give you the wand instead. You'll love it. You know, from a scaling perspective, they get the EMS just because it makes you more comfortable. And when you have complete faith that the whole team support you in your way you're managing patient complaints by taking the patient to the side and really understanding what's going on for that patient, and then you develop that great solution, and everybody is so delighted at the end, and your relationship with that patient's beautifully and strong because of that interaction, that's satisfying stuff. When you are speaking like this to patients the whole time, "Hi, it's Julie, welcome, come on in." That's passion. That will feed on itself. That's high job satisfaction, very high job satisfaction. So the what's in it for me, it will be interesting to give it all you've got and then see how you feel about your work. And there's a great way of tracking this. So you think to yourself, ask yourself a couple of key questions. So, for example, at the end of every day right now, and write it down somewhere, at the end of every day right now, generally I feel between 1 and 10, 1 being miserable, 10 being really, really happy, passionate. On that scale of 1 to 10, I feel this level of job satisfaction, maybe a 7, who knows, 7, 8. And at the start of every morning, this is how excited I feel about going to work every day. And then practice this for a month. This added energy, becoming really passionate about your interactions with patients, with team members, etc. And then do the same gauge for yourself. Now, how satisfied are you at the end of the day? I tell you what, I promise you it's going to be higher. I feel it now from years gone by. That level of getting to the end of the day and going, "Oh man, I feel good. Like that was a good day. And I felt like I had a really good contribution there and made a difference to people, a really good, positive difference to people." And so the what in it for me is huge, absolutely huge. One of the things that really does lend itself into unanticipated customer service is the 4-second rule. And some people will say that we form an impression on people around us within the first 4 seconds, 10 seconds, 10th of a second. But let's be happy with 4 seconds, the 4-second rule, because there are powerful things you can do in each of those 4 seconds. Number 1, you can make eye contact as quickly as possible. So if a patient comes in, you're at reception, a patient comes in through the front door, and as they move closer to the front desk, that's usually, with anticipated customer service, that's usually when you raise your eyes up and say, "Hi there, how are you? How can I help you today?" However, this is a wonderful thing to role play, and one that Amanda and I role play all the time with teams. Try, the minute you see that, you get a sense that a patient's about to walk through the door, look up straight away. It doesn't matter if you are on the phone or writing a task down, you can look up. You can look up and acknowledge the person by eyesight the second that they walk in that door, and it makes a difference to the patient. And when you role play and act the role of the patient, you feel it. You feel it. When the patient's being brought down from the surgery to reception, same thing. Don't just wait for them to get close to the reception desk. The minute you sense it, start looking for their eye contact. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Second, number 2 is that warm smile. So eye contact and then the warm smile. And then rather than continuing tapping away on the computer, you're turning your body language to them. You're stopping everything because this is unanticipated customer service time. And the 4th second, you're saying something welcome, or you're saying something welcoming. And so if it's a patient coming in through the front door, you say, "Welcome." Hang on a second, this is the door. She's okay. It's a very geriatric dog. I thought she wanted to come in. And you say, "Welcome." If it's the patient coming down from the surgery, say, "How did you go?" And so the first 4 seconds can be enormously impactful. And the first 4 seconds relates to everybody. When the patient comes through the front door and the receptionist delivers the 4 seconds, the patient's now sitting in the waiting room. The nurse comes down, collects the patient to come into the surgery. There's another 4 seconds. And then the patient goes into the surgery to meet up with the practitioner. That's another 4 seconds for the practitioner. And then the patient comes from the surgery down to reception desk, and the receptionist gives another first 4 seconds. And if every one of your team members has those first 4 seconds down pat, because you can practice them so easily, and then you've got constant practice with every patient that comes through, if you really make the best of your first 4 seconds, this is really setting an unanticipated customer service tone in your practice. This is setting a standard of care. Wonderful, wonderful. So do that brainstorming session. It's a magnificent thing to do. Another way you can think about unanticipated customer service is to sit down with your team, and this is actually the assignment for this week as well. There are a number of common interactions that we can have with patients that we are, in all likelihood, delivering anticipated customer service in. However, what would the management of those areas look like when we are lifting the lid on how to make this patient feel extraordinary and deliver unanticipated customer service? Such as, if you were the best dental practice in the world and you got awards every single year, no one can come close to you guys because you're delivering that unanticipated customer service. Imagine that practice doing things outside the norm, outside of what is normally being done, and really start to become quite imaginative and creative in your thought process. As I say, get the whole team together and really, if people are saying things that you're already doing, no, you got to think bigger, think bigger, think bigger. How would this best practice in the world welcome patients into the practice? And it doesn't have to be in a way, let me close this because Charles has been up since 4:30, so he's been having a nap. And it doesn't have to be something that you're going to implement into your practice. What we want you to do is start to think really creatively. So how would they welcome this particular practice, welcome patients into the practice itself? They probably had a concierge waiting there at the front. The whole job is just to work. So write that down. Start thinking out. You don't have to implement it. We just want to start thinking outside the box. How would they answer the phone? There's a beautiful practice in America. Gosh, it's just glorious. It's had millions of dollars spent on it. It's a huge building. And they've got a room where all the phones are. The receptionist doesn't have a phone. All the phone interactions are done in this other room where it's quiet, no interruptions, and just focusing on that patient. So maybe that's what's going to happen in this best practice of all time. What would they offer patients in the waiting room? How would they manage running late? How would they deliver treatment plans? How would they quote a patient? How would they issue recalls? How would they follow up an incomplete treatment? How would they manage complaints from patients? How would they manage particularly anxious patients? And I'm going to find that video of that ideal practice because I think that helps put ourselves in the headspace that we're asking of you. Because a lot of the assignments that we're receiving with this is just stating regular things, anticipated customer service. We're looking for unanticipated customer service ideas. Whether they're reasonable in your workplace or not, it doesn't matter. We just want to get the brain thinking in a different sphere. So when you come back into this after the next sprint, there'll be a video link there. I'll pop it in the chat as well. So if anyone wants to look at that video straight away, you can.